Hey, we are live. This hangout is on the air now. It's what they call a hangout on air, I guess. Just wanted to, welcome everyone that had a chance to, check out this video that I'm presenting right now. I'm extremely excited. I have a guest on that I'm going to be interviewing. This is probably my first video interview for those of you that know about my podcast. But I'm very excited to get this interview kicked off so you can get some very specific detail on an upcoming webinar that I'm going to be doing with the guy that I have on today. Okay, so I've been doing webinars for quite some time now, and this is definitely one of the biggest webinars, if not the biggest webinar that I've ever done. And I'm very, very excited for the information that we're going to share. But the reason why you're watching this video right now, the reason why you're on this page is because I want to give you some information leading up to the webinar on exactly what we're going to talk about on the webinar. Okay, so just a couple seconds, a little bit of background on me if you don't know who I am. My name is Ryan Maynard. I started online about 2 years ago, struggled for a really long time, how to sell stuff online, how to do this, and how to just make my first commission. 2 years later, fast forward, I've hit my first 5-figure month. I've moved to San Diego, California. I make a living completely from my laptop, and I've coached many other people how to do the same exact thing, right? So I have different expertise, okay? I do YouTube marketing and stuff like that. But when I need help with learning how to sell stuff with video and different area of expertise, I turn to some of the best in the industry, okay? And one of the best guys that I know that knows how to sell with video, his name is Tim Trusonis, okay? That's who I'm interviewing right now and who I'm about to introduce you, okay? So Tim, he's been online for several years now. He is the co-founder of AWN. He's done 5 figures in just over a 24-hour period from sales videos. So this guy knows exactly what he's doing, and I'm gonna go ahead and just dive right into this with Tim. That way you can get all the knowledge bombs and gold value leading up to this webinar. So this is kind of like a little taste of what we're actually going to be covering in the webinar. So what's up, man? I want to go ahead and introduce you.
Yeah, man. Thanks for the kind words, man. I was like, wow. It's funny because I think we actually got started right around the same time. I think you were a little bit after me, but I remember seeing you kind of pop into the industry and just started doing stuff and blowing up, and that was really cool to watch. And yeah, we just kind of over the last year we just kind of been blowing up ourselves. So it's cool to see how you took off, and then I was a little bit slower, and then I took off, and then we kind of met at that point where we're like, all right, hey, let's let's do interviews. Let's kind of pick each other's brains now. So this is pretty cool. I'm happy to be here. So.
Yeah, exactly, man. I've seen you doing a lot of YouTube videos and killing it in different online programs and stuff. And, seeing you basically, go from kind of where I was kind of, making a couple $100 a day to, I think your first 5 figures in just over 24 hours or something like that.
Yeah, that was pretty cool.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that's pretty badass actually. Yeah. And that's what we want to talk about today is if you're watching this right now, I want to kind of give you a taste of what we're going to be talking about in this upcoming webinar. Okay, so if you're wondering right now, like, what's this webinar? Like, what the heck are you talking about? If you want the details right now, there will be a button. If the button hasn't already showed up, it'll be below this video. You can register for the upcoming webinar on how to basically sell stuff online without being any good at selling. Okay, but I do want to go over some details today with Tim. That's why I've got some questions laid out here. So Tim, I want to go ahead and get into this and provide some amazing value for those people that are watching right now. And I want to ask, like, tell us your story, just like kind of before we get into it. Like, I want people to kind of like get to know you a little bit. So like, if you want to just like tell us like kind of like your brief when you right when you started online to like where you are now, and kind of like the mind shift.
Yeah, totally. When I first got started online, I was like a lot of people who turned to online. Nobody goes to internet marketing or turns to internet marketing because they're in a good spot. You know, they usually go to it because they're struggling somehow. And I was, you know, struggling financially pretty bad. It was scary. And make a long story short, you know, I ended up coming across some affiliate networking or network marketing opportunities, came across affiliate marketing, started really diving into it because I saw a lot of people were just, I started researching it and people were just crushing it online, you know, 5-6 figure months. And I was like, dude, I can barely, you know, I'm barely hitting, you know, 4-figure months, you know, in my job. I was like, this is insane. So I really made the decision to get into it and really figure this thing out, because I figured if all these other people can do it who are, you know, I've seen kids that are 18, 19 years old making over $1 million a year. And I'm just like, what the heck are these guys doing? So, you know, it took me a little while to figure it all out. But, you know, I thought, you know, it was all about how much traffic I got. So I would send a bunch of traffic to my opt-in page and find out that, you know, there was a science behind the traffic. So I had to learn the traffic part. And then everyone was telling me, you got to build a list. So then I was like, okay, let's start building the list. And it's just like over the course of about 1.5 to 2 years, I had some days where, you know, I made over, you know, $3,000 in a day here and there. It was small and I ramped up. You know, my first win online was like $100 in a day. And then from there, you know, slowly ramped it up. And it was always like this, you know, just getting bigger and bigger as I went. But the one thing that I just recently kind of figured out was the whole sales part of it. And once I started studying sales, like I started buying sales books, started going through courses, going to events that was strictly around making sales. It really made it click in my head to understand that the most important thing in my business was sales. You know, there was a book by, I don't know if you know about this book, by Michael Masterson. Have you heard of it? It's called Ready, Fire, Aim.
I haven't actually. Yeah, and I've read a couple of sales books myself, so I haven't heard of that book.
Yeah, Ready, Fire, Aim. It's not really a sales book, but he talks about, it's called Ready, Fire, Aim, 0 to 100 million in no time flat. That's the title of it. And this guy, he basically, he like preaches from 0 to 1 million. You can't get there unless any sales are made, right? You're here to make money. So that means you need to sell something. Stop focusing on all the other jargon, you know, building websites. That's not going to make you money. Driving traffic. That's not going to make you money. What's going to make you money is the sale. If the sale hasn't happened, no money's made. Right?
Exactly. People are like, oh, I want to figure out traffic. I got to figure out this. Oh.
Yeah.
And then they get the traffic to the sales page. They spend $500 and then no one makes a sale. And then they're like, oh,
yeah, you know? Yeah. And you know, what's his name? Earl Nightingale.
Yeah.
He says the highest paid. Oh gosh, what does he say? I don't want to screw this up. He said, basically the highest paid career is a good salesman, something like that. I totally screwed up the quote, but he basically makes the point like the people who get paid the most are the people who sell the most. And so that's what really got my gears turning. I was like, I got to learn the sales thing, because if I could sell something, I can just outsource traffic. I can outsource web development. All I need to do is focus on how do I get the sale. And then once you figure that part out, then everything else comes together. The marketing, the placing the ads, you know what you're selling, you know how to angle it. That's what it really comes down to. So once I figured that out, I put it in place. You know, I built a system. You know, we built AWN from scratch, which was a major pain in the butt. Next time I try to do something like that, I'm just going to outsource the whole thing. I'm like, this is way too much. And I think you went through the same thing too. It's just a major pain. But you know, I tested some stuff out, and within just over 60 days of launching AWN, we sold over $1,000, or it's not $1,000, 1,000 copies of a $30 software. And it all came from that one sales video, the PLS sales video. And I was like, this is insane. Like,
what else could I sell? Like what else can I apply this to?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
How can I, you know, instead of, what if I sold 1,000 copies of like $1,000 product, you know? And it's no different. Once you understand the sales psychology of something, you could sell a $5 product If you can sell a $5 product, you can sell a $100 product. If you can sell a $100 product, you can sell a $1,000 product. If you can sell a $1,000 product, you can sell a $10,000 product. And you can just ramp up, because the sales psychology is all the same, right? There's different tweaks you'd have to make along the way if you're ramping it up for a higher ticket product, but it's all the same. And there's some core fundamentals and principles that you just need to follow every single time. And if you follow those and then tweak the in between, it's a home run every time.
I mean, that makes so much sense, because a lot of times new people online, like, traffic is the hardest thing. So they'll go to like a traffic website and like buy this traffic, and then they'll send it to some sales page and they won't get many sales. But it really, a lot of this front end sales hinges on how good that sales copy is, how good that sales video is. So I guess like transitioning now, like someone new or intermediate is watching this, right now, and like, would you say like, do you have to be good at selling yourself to make money online? Like, I guess this is my first question. Like, do you have to be good at selling to make money online? Like, do you have to be a salesperson or?
No, not necessarily. Like the one thing that I understood, because I was afraid to pitch. I think that was another reason why it took me so long to really succeed online is, people get afraid of actually asking for the sale. When it comes down to the pitch part, they're afraid, and it comes through in video. It might even come through in your copy with the words you're using, if you're using like a long form sales letter. But most of the time, in a video, if you're afraid to ask for the sale, you could tell that the person starts stumbling over their words. They start speaking really, really, really fast.
So you're talking about maybe like if you're doing like a live webinar, for instance?
Yeah, if you're doing a live webinar, if you're doing like, there's people out there with like network marketing opportunities where they actually do the home and hotel meetings. I've been to a few of those with the knowledge that I have now, and I love just kind of sitting there and I'm like, here comes the pitch. And I love just watching the process, but a lot of times they get beat red, they start stumbling, and they and they start stumbling over everything. And I feel bad, because it doesn't come down to if you're good at selling or not, because you don't have to get the right copy in place. You don't need to have it perfect every single time. You just have to be confident that it's okay for someone to buy something from you. And when you're okay with asking people for money, the confidence will drive you through and will make the sale.
How do you become okay? Like, how would somebody like?
It really comes down to, have you ever bought anything from somebody?
Yeah.
Have you ever bought something really expensive from them before?
Yes.
Yeah. And when you bought something really expensive, when you first got that thing, why did you buy it? Did you buy it because it was going to bring you more value? Like you were like, I need this thing, right? You bought it because it was going to bring you more value, right? And you saw it in your mind that this thing was worth more value than the money you were giving, correct?
Yeah, exactly.
So as the person making the sale, you have to understand, hey, dude, like this thing over here is going to serve this person at a level that's worth more to them than the money they're giving me, right? So if I'm giving you a way to make $10 and you're going to give me $1 for that, it's kind of it's easier. Yeah,
it's like I'm giving you $9.
Yeah, exactly. And so you have to understand too, like when you feel confident, you feel great about what it is you're selling, that's all it takes. You just have to truly believe in your product in order to make the sale, in order to really be confident to make the sale, to show that confidence through the screen or through your words. Because when you really don't believe in the product, there's been products out there that I've tried to pitch, but I didn't feel confident in them, and I just felt bad. I just wanted the money. It's what we all fall into, that trap. We just want the money. And so, because we see a lot of people making money selling this thing, so we want to sell this thing to make the money, but subconsciously you don't feel right doing it, so it comes through in the sales copy. So what it comes down to is you don't have to be a good salesperson. You really don't have to be that good at copywriting. You just have to truly believe in what it is you're selling. You have to truly believe in what it is. And if you don't, let's say for the viewers right now, if you guys are if you're selling something and you really don't quite believe in it, find something else. Find something that truly resonates with you, that you feel like you could truly help somebody with if you sell it to them. And the copy, the sales, all that stuff will just come naturally. That's how you do it.
Yeah, and this is going to apply, like, say for instance, if you're watching this right now and maybe you have your own product or service that you'd like to offer someone via the interwebs, right? So maybe you want to be a coach, or you want to sell a physical product or something like that. Like, you need to pay really close attention to what Tim is saying, because this stuff is super important if you ever want to sell something online yourself, even if it's not a sales video necessarily where you're trying to get like a monetarily, where you're trying to get a see, you can be a complete idiot and like make money online. If you're not trying to get a monetary, transaction or whatever, it could be an email opt-in. It could be that for them to just take an action or do something like that. So these sales techniques are not going to work just for getting money, but for also just causing people to take action to do different conversions. So that was my my next question to you is like, other than the sales techniques that you're talking about, where could someone else apply this in their online business other than sales videos? Like, if they want to do their own sales videos, like, right, what other videos could they apply this to?
Oh, absolutely. And it kind of ties into what you just said. Once you understand the core of it, which is truly believing in what it is you're selling, truly believe in your product. Like if you kind of step back for a second, if you talk to a CEO of a company and you ask them about their product, they will talk your ear off about how they're helping the world, how they're doing this, and they just truly believe in it. And sometimes it'll suck you in and you're just like, I want a piece of this, And that's a good example for kind of seeing how when someone truly believes in their product, it's just easy to make the sale. But once you understand that, then you can understand, okay, it doesn't just come to making sales videos or writing sales copy. It'll start coming through in everything you do, whether you're trying to get someone to take, like, say you're writing a text to your friend, right? And because you start learning sales copy and stuff, you start writing and copy, and you start being persuasive and everything. I do it all the time. It's funny. And you start learning how to move people. You could then start applying it to not only sales videos, but also just great training videos. If you guys are out there providing content on YouTube, or you got your own blog, or you're doing coaching calls or anything like that, the way you speak and the way once you learn this stuff, it really comes through in everything you do. So you can start driving more traffic. It could be a traffic generation method where someone lands on your video, and because of the way you talk, you're able to get them to go to another website or click a link or register for something. It doesn't really matter. You could apply it in your emails that you send out to get higher click-through rates. You could use it in your ads to get higher click-through rates and higher conversion rates to get the opt-in on your capture pages. It basically spills over everything once you learn this one thing, which is sales. Because the sales copy, on a smaller scale, goes into your Facebook ad. It goes into the solo ad to get the right headline or the subject line, the right calls to action. It really just goes into everything that you do online. So, that's why I started focusing 100% on sales, and then everything else just kind of falls into place and just takes the guesswork out.
Yeah, that makes total sense, because, someone might be watching this and they might think like, oh, well, I don't really plan on making a sales video anytime soon, but this isn't just applied to making a sales video for anything like that. I mean, obviously this is going to be applied to that, but it's going to be applied to every area of your online business and every facet.
Yeah.
So I got to take a piss real quick. I'm going to edit this out. Or maybe I'll just leave it in.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Raw. I'll make this really awkward so that when you're editing this, you're going to see this. It's weird. It's weird. Oh, man. This is weird. If he doesn't edit this out, I'm just going to hang out here. Oh, man. I just found a cut on my finger. Check that out. Weird.
All right. We're
All
back.
right. Sweet.
So, yeah, that worked out good. What we were talking about again, I forget. We were talking about the sales. Okay, so the next thing I want to ask is, I know we're going to get into a ton of the detail like in the upcoming webinar. So definitely, if you're watching this right now, click the button below and register for the webinar. But I do want to get into a little bit of detail. If you could give us maybe some tips on, I don't know, maybe if you kind of have like a somewhat of a formula on how to communicate in the video for someone to take an action, whether that's to pull out their credit card and buy, whether that's to opt in, whether that's to take an action. So like
one of the biggest things that I've learned, and this is one of the things you guys can apply into everything you're doing, especially video based, or if you're doing phone calls or anything like that. I initially learned this from Dan Kennedy, and he calls them progressive agreements. And along the way in your video, you want to get them kind of saying, like, you want them to be saying yes to what it is you're doing. Okay. That's a progressive agreement, to get them to agree that what it is you're doing is the thing that they need to be doing. Like, yeah, I do this. Okay. Yes. This is what I want. This is what I want. Those are progressive agreements. I then later, just recently, a couple months ago, learned from Russell Brunson, trial closes. He calls them trial closes.
Yeah.
Such a good book.
That guy just came in the mail the other day.
Gosh, that book is insane. I've gone through it 4 times.
Wow. Yeah, I just started reading it, so I'm excited.
Love that book.
So progressive agreements, and then
trial closes.
Trial closes.
Yeah, they're called trial closes, and they're just little things, or you get them nodding their head and they're saying, yeah, like, if you ever watch in any of my videos, any of them, it doesn't matter if I'm selling something or not. Basically, I just get people saying, yeah, like, isn't that weird? Like,
yeah, they're like those little micro commitments.
Yeah, exactly. And so, like, I mean, honestly, do you think that people watching this video can get some kind of, some kind of value just out of watching this video, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, those are trial closes. I just dropped like 4 or 5 of them on you, and you're doing that. Yeah.
Yeah, of course. So the next question that you're going to ask is more than likely not going to be no.
It's always a yes answer. And so you get them saying yes, yes, yes throughout your entire presentation, or just throughout if you want them to, click a link or do anything like that, even if it's as simple as, getting them just to click a button below a video, all they have to do is just get them saying yes, yes, yes. And when it comes time for the close, it's a lot harder for them to say no, because they've been saying yes to you this entire time. And so it's a trial close. It's closing them on saying yes automatically. And so when I do my emails, like when I send out autoresponders or broadcasts or anything like that, or even when I'm in Facebook groups, it's so ingrained. I even do it to my fiance when we're out at dinner. I'm like, isn't that awesome? Like I do it all the time. You make her
like you through
trial closes.
Dude, that's funny. I'm gonna try that like when I'm like go to the beach and I like try to like pick up is it nice out today? Do you like the sunset?
Isn't it nice out right now?
Isn't it nice? Like, do you want to? Yeah. Okay. Cool.
And then you close. Yeah.
And then, can I have your number? No.
Yeah. Totally. So I mean, you can use it. When I learned that, it like blew my mind. I was like, this is insane. And then I started another thing I'd recommend you guys do is go out there and, if you see something that's being sold online, you see a video sales letter, watch it, record it. If you can, take notes, watch the process. Don't get sucked into it. Just watch the process. look at the questions they're asked. They're going to be asking you yes questions, like they're getting you engaged. They're getting you to say yes. They're getting you to nod your head. And when that happens, even if they're selling something or not, like, training webinars, most time on a training webinar, they're not selling you. On some webinars, they sell you something. On a sales video, sometimes a sales video is a training video, but they're trying to sell you on watching the next video, right? So it gets them kind of moving through and doing this thing.
Everything is sales. That's the
everything
thing.
is sales.
Everything is. If you don't want to get sold, don't get out of bed in the morning. Okay,
exactly.
like.
And even then, your phone's going off.
Yeah.
You were sold on that damn iPhone you bought. So
yeah, like your friend's asking you, do you want to get lunch? Or he's selling you on the fact of hanging out with him. Like, okay, we're gonna go here. It's gonna be, you know what I mean?
Totally. And that's why I want people to understand sales are not bad. Sales happen all the time. When you go through the drive-through at McDonald's, they're like, you want to add fries to that? You want a Coke with that? Like, upselling. There's always sales going on. Everything is sales psychology. So once I realized that, again, that's why I was like, I need to learn the sales stuff, because if I don't learn that, I'm going to have to constantly outsource, and copywriters are not cheap. So if you master the sales thing, you can always become a copywriter and become a freelance copywriter and charge $10,000, $20,000 a campamping.
Yeah, like they charge like $100 for like a minute right there, or something
it's
like
insane.
That.
It's insane.
Dude.
So you got to start somewhere and learn the sales stuff, and once you do that, there's no limit. Like, there is no limit. So practice closes.
Yeah. Oh, so in like a quick recap. So, getting people to say yes multiple times. No, don't do the whole entire time. Like, do you want to get money online? Do you want to get more traffic? Do you want to do this? Do you want to you want to make it subtle, but make it to where they're kind of nodding their head mentally. They're kind of like yes.
Like in the conversation, like when you asked me that question, and then, I was just saying, people are watching this. Do you think they're getting value out of this? Like, yeah, they totally are. And you were already doing it. And I was closing you. Like, boom,
hey, I'm already getting sold.
Yeah.
Dang. I love it.
So, that's the cool part. Yeah. Keep it subtle. Like, ask questions, like give something cool, like teach them something cool and go, isn't that awesome? Or I learned that one from Brunson, because he says that all the time. Isn't that cool? Like, can you see yourself doing that real quick? Like, it's totally life-changing, right? Like, yeah. It's just those subtle little questions like that. They don't have to be obvious, but sometimes they are. But, most time people don't understand what's going on in a sales video. But that's why once you learn this stuff, you can then go out there into any niche you want, watch a sales video in that niche, see what they're doing, and go, I can make a better version of that. Or just, I can tweak this here. I would tweak this here. I'd add trial closes here, and then make your own sales video and then drive traffic to that, and boom.
Absolutely. And that's the thing that I started to realize when I started to kind of transition from a newbie to more like intermediate and stuff like that, is when I would land on a sales video, I'd land on a webinar, I would actually look at it from an entrepreneurial creator side. Like, how is this person selling? And then just splice in the words that would apply to my product and then do that. You know what I mean? It's like.
Yeah, that was one thing that really hit home for me too. Is kind of an aha moment, was watch what people are doing. Don't do what they tell you to do. Right. So don't fall, like I said, don't fall into the trap of getting, sucked in every single time. Sometimes it's good to buy their product just so that you can see the entire process of it happening, right? I've gone through sales funnels and I've dropped a couple $100 just to see what the sales process is. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, okay, if I buy this thing right now, where's it going to send me? And then I'm taking notes. You know what I mean? I'm seeing the sales process.
It's funny that you say that, because I'm wanting to start my own academy and training. And I don't know if you guys are familiar with the School of Greatness by Lewis Howes, but it was like a $500 6-month thing. And I knew like the stuff that was going to be in it kind of, but I would just like, I'm only going to buy this for the simple fact of reverse engineering the whole thing. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, totally.
So yeah.
I went to that Russell Brunson event in Vegas, Funnel Hacking Live. Did you see that going on?
I didn't go to it, but I think I heard of it, but I didn't.
Yeah, I went to it, and I knew that they were going to pitch something, right? But I was like, okay, this guy is insane when it comes to sales. Like, he's gonna pitch that whole room. I want to watch this go down, right?
You're like, all right, I'm ready. Like, eating your popcorn.
And and it was funny because I was like sitting in the middle somewhere, and he starts getting into it. And because I recognized what was going on, like before he even started pitching, I saw like the words he started using. I started noticing the trial closes, and I'm like, it's coming. Right?
It's coming.
I was
it's
like,
coming.
And I remember I sat up, I had my notebook out, and I was just like watching it go down. And there was about 600 people in that room. And he did the pitch. The presentation was about, I don't know, 45 minutes to an hour, if that, right? Probably about an hour. It seemed like a lot faster, but I'm sure it was a lot longer, but because I was enjoying it. But probably about an hour presentation, and they made I think it was just over $500,000. It was insane.
$500,000 in like
it was insane. I watched everyone just like, like they wanted to go buy this thing. And I'm like, this is awesome. Like, I want to learn that. Right.
I want to learn. Yeah. I mean, like, yeah, I'm literally, guys, if you want to learn how to basically command people to buy now, literally, and if you don't know anything about selling right now, then you don't want to miss this webinar. Like I said, Tim is going to lay out literally the entire blueprint basically on how you can do this kind of stuff with video. Okay. And and he's going to also teach you how to automate this. So you don't have to do it live. You don't have to do it from stage, but basically how to command money and make people feel good about it too. And he's going to show you exactly the specific steps on how to do this. So like I said, if you haven't already, there's a button below to register for the webinar. As of right now, I think it's like a couple weeks out or a week out, something like that. The date will be on the webinar registration page below. But yeah, dude, I love that you said that, because I've been in rooms where, the pitch comes and people just, it's almost like they're in like I've literally been in a room where they did a pitch and where people went to the back of the room and bought, and literally like everybody stood up and they were like, oh,
yeah,
buy. Like,
yeah.
I was like,
it's awesome to watch that happen. If you guys, if none of you guys have ever been in that situation where you've been to an event where they were pitching something, you need to go. Like, you honestly, it's so much fun to watch. Like, even if you might want to buy something, like, it is so awesome to watch that happen in front of you. You're just like, and now that you know and understand, like, you're able to kind of step back for a second and watch it happen. Then you see the bird's eye view of what just happened. Right? You're like, dude, this guy you start counting, like, okay, that was a $3,500 product. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There's like 100 people. Holy crap, this guy just made $350,000. Like, you know what I mean?
Like right now.
Like right now, he just made, like, I'm watching $350,000 be made in front of me. It's awesome. And, going back to the, people making money, asking for money, asking for the sale, people giving you money. In that webinar, I'm actually going to go over some exercises for you guys to help ease your mind to understand that it's okay to pitch a product and to not feel uncomfortable or, not confident enough to really ask for the sale. Because that's a big obstacle that a lot of people have a hard time overcoming, because, our whole lives we're taught, don't be that that sneaky snake oil salesman, don't be the car salesman, don't be the salesman. Oh, the sales guy came to my door today. It's like this negative thing about sales. But when you understand and step out of that frame of mind and understand that when it's done properly, it's actually a good thing. It's actually making your life a whole lot easier.
Yeah, that makes total sense. And we're also going to teach you like how to effectively sell stuff at a massive scale and not feel like a sleazy salesperson or something like that, because that's not how it should be. It shouldn't be like that. Okay, proper. And the thing is the goal here is to get the sale, but also provide so much value to that person that they are not only excited about the product, but they're going to be more than happy to buy your next product that you come out with. Okay, because it's all about the lifetime customer value as well. Isn't that right?
Yeah, totally. That's another thing too. I drive home in my training is, don't just sell something to make a sale. There's a lot of people that and I make you guys make me a promise on that training too before I get into anything is, you cannot you have to promise me that you will not use this for evil, because people can, and some people do. But when you use this the right way, when you use this as a tool to be able to get in front of people who need what you have, and you're able to deliver that, you're supplying them with something that they need in order to accomplish their goals. And in return, they're returning the favor by paying you money, and you're getting your goal. So it's a win-win on both sides, but you're the one supplying the entire environment, if that makes any sense. Mm-hmm. So when you look at it like that, you're supplying an environment where someone can get something of value from you, you can get something of value from them. It's a fair exchange, and you just do that all day, and you're able to leverage the internet to make that automated. Oh, it's beautiful. I love it.
That's all. Yeah, I mean, you're exchanging value for value. You're using the interwebs. I love saying the interwebs.
Yeah, interwebs.
I think I heard that from like Frank Kern or something.
Yeah.
Like that. I think
selling my wares and services on the interwebs.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's nothing like it once you can learn how to do sales stuff online, and to be able to just make somebody to take an action and stuff. And like I said, guys, Tim is one of the best guys that I know, especially personally, that can teach you how to do this very, very, very effectively. And I teach YouTube and how to do YouTube stuff. And even like I said, even as Tim said, it's not necessarily just like a sales video, but like being able to come across in a way that with that energy in your video to engage people, because sales is also about engagement. And even if it's not a sales video, you still want that engagement, so people keep coming back and wanting your stuff. Yeah. So I guess, like, is there, in closing, is there anything that like you could leave here, with some, I guess, some specifics on what you want people to know when it comes to online sales videos coming across in your videos?
Don't be afraid. Don't worry about what other people are going to say. When you first do this, you might not be that good. The first one right out the gate, you might come out swinging and it'll be a home run. But 99% of the time, it's not. And the reason being is not because it doesn't work. It's because you haven't honed in on what it is that maybe you're stumbling too much, or maybe you're not comfortable hearing your own voice on video. Maybe you're still getting nervous when going for the pitch or the call to action. I know Ryan's done it. I've done it. I've made hundreds of videos online. Hundreds. It's insane. Like, thinking back, I'm just like, Jesus, like, so many videos out there.
Yeah.
And I'm sure you've done the same thing, and to this day, there's still videos that I make where I still take 3 or 4 takes, and just understand it's not going to be perfect the first time, but what it takes is honestly just you going out there and doing it. Putting yourself out there is the first step that you have to take in order to really do this, because it's making sales copy. It's putting yourself out there and actually selling something, getting your hands dirty. Most people, you've heard Frank Kern say this, most people can't sell their way out of a paper bag, right? And it's not because they don't know how. The information's there. They know how. They haven't applied it enough to master it, right? If you ever read that book by Robert Greene, it's called Mastery. It's about this thick. It's a big book. I read through it once and my brain was like fried. I was like, holy crap, that was a lot of reading. Robert Greene, Malcolm Gladwell, all of his books, they talk about psychology and becoming a master, like the level of mastery you need to be at. They say it takes on average 10,000 hours for your brain to click into the level of mastery you need to be at that level. And I'm like, 10,000 hours, holy crap, I need to make more videos. Like, it's just, I got to get better.
More videos.
Yeah, I've made a ton of money with sales videos, but I don't claim to have mastered it. I'm constantly getting better and better and better and better. And that's what it takes. If you're going to walk away from this video and not do anything, nothing's going to happen. But if you walk away from this video, this hangout today, and go register for the webinar, or let's say you just leave this leave this hangout and you go make your first video, guess what? You took that first step, and then the next step will be easier and then easier, and then you'll see what you need to tweak and fix along the way, and you just keep making it better and better and better. And eventually, you'll just go out there and start crushing it and start doing live hangouts like this.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and the thing is like I said, like what Tim just said, is taking those like micro actions and building a track record of completing stuff. Okay, because that's a lot of times we haven't built up that track record to give ourselves the confidence to keep taking more action. So clicking the button is first of all is the first step. You know, joining the webinar, what Tim is going to be doing here shortly, applying the information that you're going to learn in that webinar. Okay, and then actually getting money and creating money from that webinar, like that's going to give you a lot of confidence to go out there and even make more money.
Yeah, I'm going to map out the 3 main things that you need in order to have an effective sales video. You know, I can go over those 3 things right now, but you know, I won't go into detail because that's what the webinar is for. But basically, you're going to want to be able to create an angle, cause inception, and command attention within your videos. And those 3 things, when they're lined up perfectly, they point into your perfect sales video. As long as you have those 3 things, boom, you've got them. And then you could test and tweak along the way and get better and add stuff to it and all that. But those are the main 3 core things that are in every single one of my videos. And it just works. So that's why I want to share it with you guys. So go ahead and register for the webinar. You'll see a button below or wherever it is on this page. And, you know, see you guys. Well, I'll see you guys in there. And it'll be about an hour and a half training. So look forward to that. It's going to be really good stuff. Drop a lot of bombs.
Drop a lot of bombs, a lot of golden bars there.
Yeah.
All right, cool. So yeah, all right, so go ahead, definitely register for the webinar, and you're going to get actionable value in this webinar to go ahead and go out there and start selling stuff and to make money. So go ahead, register below, and we will see you live at the webinar. See you later, guys.
See you guys.
Okay, cool. Stop.